There are multiple financial avenues for you to choose in to invest in. Investing and then getting massive returns from it is a new stream of income for many people. Investing ensures that your present as well as your future is financially secured. It allows you to accumulate wealth exponentially. Remember that when you make all your investments, it should be in line with your investment profile, including your income, your expenditure, risk profile, and your financial goals. When it comes to choosing the best investment option, there are multiple questions that pops up in mind. But when you're looking at an investment avenue that gives you high returns and it comes with minimum risk, then you should definitely go ahead and invest in mutual funds. But when investing in mutual funds, there's often one question that often puzzles the mind, and that is whether you should invest through SIP route or should you make lump sum investment. Hi, I'm Namrata. Welcome to IndianMoney.com, and in today's video, we are going to look at SIP versus lump sum and which one is the better option. Now let's begin by understanding what does the terms SIP and lump sum refers to. SIP, which is Systematic Investment Plan, as the name suggests, is a mode or a route of doing a staggered investment in the mutual fund at a predetermined date. Let's say every 1st, 5th or 10th of every month you would be investing. Predetermined amount as well as the frequency, that is, say every month you would invest, every quarterly you would invest, biannually, bi-quarterly or bi-monthly, etc. Now this would be mutually finalized between the investor and the fund house. Now let's understand how does the SIP work. Well, as in how you do the regular and disciplined SIP investment, new units of that mutual fund are purchased based on the prevailing NAV, which is net asset value. Over a time, the cost of the purchase of the unit averages on and it turns out to be on the lesser side when compared to those of the lump sum investment. Now this in simpler word means that when you continue with your SIP, when the market is down, you thereby invest and you purchase a lot of fund units when compared to when the market is blooming, wherein the allocation of the NAV will be low. And this mechanism is called as a rupee cost averaging, wherein you will be purchasing a lot of fund units at a lower cost. Moving on, we'll now understand what is lump sum investment in mutual fund and how does it work. Now, as the name suggests, lump sum means that you would be investing a huge amount of money at one go. Now, this entirely depends on you, how much of investment would you like to invest and when do you want to invest. Now, in this way, you would be purchasing mutual fund units in a lump sum based on the prevailing NAV. Now, let's understand what SIP and lump sum means with an example. Let's say, suppose you have rupees 10 lakh in your bank account and you would like to invest that in some venue. Let's say you would like to invest that in ELSS, which is Equity Linked Savings Scheme. Now, unless you are a market whiz and you know which scheme you need to invest in, it's advisable that you do not go with lump sum investment. Now, you have two ways to invest this particular 10 lakh rupees that you have in your bank. First step is you can make a monthly SIP of the amount that you are very comfortable with. Let's say you can invest rupees 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, whichever amount you are comfortable depositing or investing every month. Now, do not use this money and let it be in your bank unless you have decided which scheme you need to invest in and you need to invest in systematically. The other option is you can invest a lump sum in, say, liquid funds, and then you can start systematic transfer plan from the debt funds to the ELSS. Moving on, we'll now understand when should you choose to invest through SIP. Well, a regular income person can choose to invest in SIP. But then why SIP is better? Because it reduces the burden of investing in lump sum. Also, let me tell you, if you're a person who's investing in equity fund and you're looking for long-term investment, then SIP investments is highly recommended. Let me also tell you that SIP works well even in the falling market. This is because a person or investor can accumulate a large number of fund units at a low cost, and the growth rate becomes high as in how the market picks up. Coming to the next question, which is what is the right time for you to choose SIP? Well, any time is the right time. Let the market be at its all-time high or low. It shouldn't be affecting SIP investor. Now, this is because it has been assumed that mutual fund investors invest with the intention for a long-term investment. So if you're looking for long-term investment, it's highly recommended that you always invest through SIP, because investing throughout the business cycle will also give you an edge and you will continue to earn high returns. Moreover, the longer the investor stays, they will also get the benefit of power of compounding. Coming to the next question, when should you choose a lump sum investment? Well, a lump sum investing approach always helps or always works out when the market is doing well. But then what if you're wrong and the market falls? Well, you can always have a way out. You can always opt for systematic transfer plan. A systematic transfer plan basically is where the regular funds will be transferred from another mutual fund rather than from the bank account. It's always advisable that you invest in any liquid fund or equity fund rather than keeping your money in your bank account, as your corpus will earn higher return when, say, compared to your savings bank account. Also remember that you always choose short-term equity fund or debt fund to do the systematic transfer plan, and you can later on also instruct your fund house to do the systematic transfer fund of the equity funds that you have chosen over a period of time. Difference between SIP and lump sum is the rupee cost averaging. One-time investment fluctuates based on the market movements. On the other hand, SIP averages out the cost of the unit over a period of time. Now let's understand with the help of a table how much of returns would you get if you had invested, say, lump sum, and if you had invested, say, SIP when the market was doing well and when the market was falling. Now let's assume you had invested, say, rupees 12 lakh in lump sum and 12 lakh via SIP. Let's say you had invested when the market was rising, when the market was performing good. Here when you look at the table, it clearly shows that CAGR, which is your compound annual growth rate, if you had invested via lump sum, the growth rate would be 52.58% and the returns you would get would be rupees over 17 lakh. The same thing if you had invested the same amount if you had invested via SIP, the CAGR would be 57.88% and the returns you would get would be over rupees 14 lakh. Now remember that whenever you're investing in lump sum amount, when the market is doing good, would give you a better return rather than when compared to you're investing in SIP. Looking at the second table now. Now this is when you had invested, say, the same amount of rupees 12 lakh via lump sum and rupees 12 lakh via SIP, that is rupees 1 lakh every month. Here the CAGR, which is again the compound annual growth rate for lump sum amount, would be minus 0.73%. And the SIP growth rate would be 0.58%. Now for the lump sum, you would get returns over only rupees 11 lakh. On the other hand, if you had invested through SIP, your returns would be over rupees 12 lakh. Now this is when you had invested via SIP when the market was not doing great in the falling market. Now coming back to the question whether you should go for SIP investment or make lump sum amount investment, let me tell you that not one size fits all. Although SIP and lump sum has their own pros and cons, when deciding the investment routes in mutual fund, factors such as financial stability, your investment goals, the investable surplus amount, then the ability to do market timing, etc. should all be taken into consideration. So whether you go for SIP or lump sum, it should all depend on what kind of financial goals you have set for yourself. Also, for more such financial content, download our Financial Freedom app to know more about investments, to know more about business, agriculture, career building, etc. Also, do not forget to hit on the like button, subscribe to the channel and hit on the bell icon to get notified for our next video. Thank you for watching IndianMoney.com. Get wise and break free.